It's Randi Rhodes. Here's a clip from our show, and go to randyrhodes.com for the whole thing and a podcast. Buy a stinking podcast.
Mary had a little man.
The fall. We believe that all men are created equal.
To the magnificent mosaic that is America.
From radio beacon to radio beacon. I have a dream today. Change has come to America.
Believe me.
Knock, knock. Who's there?
It's a figment of your imagination.
Randi Rhodes Show.
Turn up your mind.
So the impeachment managers have concluded their case. Tomorrow at noon, we will hear from the defense lawyers or whatever they are now. These people are not constitutional lawyers, the ones representing the president. We've heard all kinds of reports that the reason why the lawyers are so lame and say things like, well, if the president committed a crime, then why don't we just charge him and take him to criminal court, which will happen. Which will happen. You know, during this trial, Georgia, the state of Georgia, began an investigation, a criminal one, into Donald Trump's trying to overturn the will of the voters in Georgia. The phone call that was on tape apparently is going to be Exhibit A in a criminal case against Donald Trump because it is illegal to solicit election fraud, which is exactly what he was doing on that freaking phone call. Going back to Georgia, you remember when Gabe Sterling, he was the manager of the election for the Georgia Secretary of State, the Republican Secretary of State, Raffensperger, remember that? And he was very clear with all of us way back before the insurrection. And this is why it's a crime, because it was premeditated, it was foreseeable, and Donald Trump kept on egging it on, even after the Gabe Sterling at Georgia said, you better cut this out. You better stop. Somebody's going to get hurt. Someone's going to get shot. Someone's going to get killed. Remember that? Well, that's exactly what happened. It's exactly what happened. What is he, clairvoyant? Was he like, Dionne Warwick or something? And he needs a 976 number, right? No, it was obvious. It was painfully obvious. It was predictable. It was foreseeable. That's the word in law. It was foreseeable. And it was encouraged, this violence. It was encouraged. And the way that Donald Trump encouraged it was by screaming about violence at all his rallies from the very beginning. At the very beginning, right? That's what we need more of. Punch him. We got to have people fight back. We have to have people hit back. You got to hit them back harder. This has been going on for 5 years, and now you know exactly why. It was Donald Trump's insurance policy in case he ever lost. Now, the question here is not, what if Donald Trump isn't disqualified and he runs again and he wins? No. The question is, what happens if Donald Trump is acquitted here and he runs again and he loses? We'll have another attack on our capital, okay? And maybe in state capitals, maybe they've learned a little lesson here, these crazy people, and that is, don't let them certify in the states, because once it gets to the federal government, it's done. It's over. Your chance is gone. How sick, how sad, how unbelievable. No, the question is, what happens if Donald Trump is acquitted? What happens if Donald Trump isn't disqualified from running again, and he does, and he loses? That's the sick question. And what will it say about us as a people if we have a Senate that has become a cult of a person, a cult of personality, or we have senators who are afraid of their own voters? That could be the reason why too. I have no earthly idea why they would let this man get away with the violence, with the death, with the ransacking, with the destruction, with everything that we saw, everything we know, everything that we didn't know, and now we do because of the presentation that was made. All the things we saw that we had seen and all the things we saw that we hadn't seen, with a timeline that guides us right through the beginning, the middle, and the end of this presidency. What happens to this country if this is where the Republican Party leads us? What do we do? Because the rest of the world is saying, see, democracy doesn't work, which is exactly what the Russians were after in the first place. See, democracy doesn't work. You need to crack down. This is unbelievable. This is, and by the way, the reason why the Democrats didn't attack the Republicans for their complicity in this, and yes, they were complicit, and here's how I know. Lindsey Graham, on the day of the insurrection, he called Ivanka. Yeah, he called Ivanka Trump, okay? And the reason he called Ivanka Trump was to get to, and you know this, to get to Donald Trump. And to tell Ivanka, to tell your father to call off the mob. Well, Lindsey Graham is now denying that Donald Trump knew that this mob was going to get violent and that this mob had anything to do with Donald Trump. Well, if Lindsey Graham called Ivanka to ask Donald Trump to call off his mob, then Lindsey Graham knows that Donald Trump has a mob. Lindsey Graham also called Georgia. He also, remember, we reported on this and it didn't make any sense at the time. Why was the South Carolina senator calling Georgia to ask Georgia what can be done to flip the result of this election? What can be done? You know why he did it? Because Lindsey Graham knew there was going to be violence. He knew it. He knew it. He knew what was coming. They all knew what was coming. And are they complicit? Yes, they're complicit. But if you stand there and you don't give them an out, if you stand there and you don't draw a bright line and say, well, you may have been silent and you may have gone along with this and you may have let the big lie get out of control, but you know, there's a big difference between what you did as a senator and what that man did as the awesome president of the United States. They had to give the Republican Party that out. They had to do it because they may get 6, maybe 7, maybe 8 Republican votes. They're hoping for 17, as you well know. And there's still the question of, what do you mean, do they all have to vote? I have asked, I can't tell you how many people, constitutional scholars, legal people, about whether or not the Republican Senate has to vote, right? The part of the Constitution that says that it takes a 2/3 of the members present. People think that maybe that gives a pass to some of the Republicans from actually having to cast a vote. Half of the people I spoke to said it's possible. The other half that I spoke to said no, they've already sworn the oath to do impartial justice. They already swore the oath under pain of imprisonment that they would be quiet and pay attention. So they have to vote because they swore the oath that they would be present, that they would do impartial justice. So that's what I found out. Now, I'm not a lawyer, so I had to ask. So then if that's the case, if 50% of those people who said they swore the oath, they're already in, they have to vote, if they're right, we need 17 votes. If they're not right, we could actually, see every Republican sit it out. Let's say every Republican sat it out, right? Let's say they all said, I don't want to vote. So then only 50 votes would be there. And with only 34 votes, 2/3, but it's a fantasy. It's a fantasy. But those are the numbers. Those are the numbers. Go to RandiRhodes.com for the whole thing and a podcast. Buy a stinking podcast.